Before we get started, just a quick reminder to make sure you hit the subscribe button and also the like button to notify YouTube that you enjoy these videos. Take care. So I want us to look at this topic of wellness, because wellness is so important for us all. It's the foundational thing that makes life worth living. And so we have to pay close attention to the things that can help us with our wellness and the things that can help us to maintain our wellness and the things we can do to build and boost the levels of our wellness in our day-to-day life. And so one of the things that's really important to be aware of is that there is no giant step to doing it. It's not, one day you do your mantras or your affirmations and that's it. It's not a one-off session of yoga or Pilates. It's not going on holiday for 3 weeks and feeling really relaxed. It's not, getting a pedicure done once and then that's it. But it's all of those things and any other little steps that you can take on a regular basis that helps you to have wellness. It's how you eat. It's how you sleep. It's how you think. It's how you speak about yourself. It's the things you do that helps you to maintain your well-being. And so it's really important that you understand this every little step you take. It's all of the things you're thinking about. It's if you give yourself 5 minutes every day to just reflect on a day, recognize what you did well, look at the areas where you could improve and doing something about it. It's about the healthy relationships you have in your life and the people that you can trust and confide in. It's about the things that you're allowing to go through your eye gates and your ear gates, what you're listening to, what you're watching, what you're being entertained by. And so when we're thinking about well-being, it's a holistic approach. It's everything matters. And so it's important for you to start to pay attention to these areas, to the things that you're doing, to your morning routine, to how you're eating, to the things you do before you go bed. Everything matters when it comes to your well-being. And it's all of the small steps that you take that helps you to maintain your well-being. And so I love this quote by Dalai Lama, and it says, there are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday, meaning whatever happened yesterday, you can't do anything about it. You can't change it. You can't remix it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's gone. It's done. And it's meant to be a lesson and not a prison sentence that holds you bound. And whether that lesson is a good lesson in terms of I did this and this was really beneficial for me, I'm learning for that and I may do that again. I may eat the apple again. I may do 5 minutes of mindfulness again. I may do a workout again. Or it may be a lesson that didn't work out for me. So I may not spend time with that individual again. I may not invest too much time watching the news because of how it made me feel. I may not go out really late when I've got work the next day because I feel drained and tired. So yesterday is nothing you can do about it. And the other is called tomorrow. And so many people worry, fret, have anxiety and fear about tomorrow. And you can't do anything about tomorrow. And some of those people didn't even wake up to see tomorrow. But we are consumed so much by tomorrow that we cannot enjoy today. And today is the right day to live, to believe, to do, and mostly to live. Live in the present because it's a gift. That's why we call it present. and use what you have today to work on your well-being, to improve your well-being, to sustain your well-being. Because when you do that, tomorrow will be better with whatever you've got to face tomorrow. If you've worked on today rightly, you'll have the strength, the wisdom, the courage, and the patience to be able to manage it much better. And so it's really important that we use today wisely and use it to work on your well-being. So you'll be stronger tomorrow. So you'll be better tomorrow. And so today is the day that you do everything in your life. And when tomorrow comes, that will be your today. And then you can handle and deal with it in whatever way you please. And so wellness is real wealth. And just ask anyone who has become really sick. Doesn't matter how rich they are. It doesn't matter how much wealth they have. Once they lose their wellness, people would want to give up everything just to get their wellness back. And so while you have it and you can nurture it, use it every day. Work on it every day, because wellness is real wealth. And so I want to look at the 6 key areas of wellness that it will be wise for you to pay attention to. And as we go through these 6 areas, I want you to reflect on your own life and where you may need to work on a particular area and those areas that you're doing well in. It's important for us to have balance. It's important to be able to look at our strengths and our areas of development, even in the area of our wellness. So the first one we have is emotional. So being able to understand and cope with one's feelings. And so ask yourself, how do you cope and manage with situations on an emotional level? Do you have not just the self-awareness, but the self-regulation when situations arise? How do you manage and deal with stressful situations when things go wrong? Because the way that we feel about things can trigger an impact on our well-being. Stress, and when I say stress, I'm not talking about just a one-off situation or, if something has affected you once in a while. But when we are continuously stressed, that actually weakens the heart and the brain. And so it's important that we are able to manage and regulate when situations come up. And so how do you deal with things in terms of your emotions? Because emotions is really energy in motion. So whenever we have a thought about a situation, it triggers a chemical reaction that we call an emotion, which is really the energy of your thoughts that's become so strong, it's emotion and it's triggering you in a way to have anger or anxiety or fear or excitement or joy or happiness. And so it's about recognizing what happens to you when you're going through situations and how do you manage those emotions? Are you an emotional eater? When you have these emotions, how do you manage and cope with them? Because the average human being experiences 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those are rumination. And so how many of those thoughts are triggering you to create negative emotions? And so it's important to recognize that thoughts create things. So a man or woman thinketh in their mind, in their subconscious mind, so they are, so they become. And that becoming is triggered by your emotions and they impact on your body. The second one is spiritual. So it's the growth of one sense of meaning in life. And so what's your meaning? What's your purpose? What drives you? What influences you? What is your value-based system? How do you navigate through life? What is it that helps you to make the deciding factor when decisions come up, especially difficult ones? It's really important because this plays a key role in the places that you end up, in the decisions that you make. Because if you're not guided by something greater than yourself, bigger than yourself, a purpose, a mission, a calling, a belief system, then your decisions may not necessarily be the best ones that you make in the midst of situations. And so that spiritual belief system, and that doesn't necessarily mean religion, but that thing that you tap into, that higher part of yourself, your higher consciousness, your value-based system, your principles that drive you and influence you, can keep you well, because you do things based on what is right and best for you. And some people, when they just say, you know, I just felt it or I just believed it, what that is you're tapping into your higher consciousness that is speaking to you, that is guiding you, that is telling you, don't do that thing. It seems like a great thing, but don't do it. And so it's important for you to begin to hear, know, and understand that voice. And whether it is for you, God, or the universe, or the unformed substance, whatever you may call it, your higher power, there must be something spiritual, some sense of meaning in life that you have that can be your guiding, your leading, your inspiration, and most importantly, that helps you to make decisions that's in your best interest in terms of your well-being. The third one is intellectual. So expanding one's knowledge, your skills, and creativity. Growing in your mind, in your thinking, in your understanding, in your knowledge, in your skills of how you can stay healthy, in what things work for you, in what type of foods to eat, in what type of exercise works for you, in terms of what kind of thinking helps to strengthen you. You see, wisdom is to avoid thoughts that weaken you, that impact on you. And so even on an intellectual level, we can have a greater sense of wellness because we understand processes, systems, information that can help us to be well. For example, many people don't realize that when we go to sleep, that your body is actually working just as hard as when it's awake. Your brain is working just as hard as when it's awake. And one thing that's released when you're asleep is melatonin. Melatonin is your body's DIY system. It helps to regulate, to heal, to help the body recover. Now, if you eat too close to when you go to sleep, melatonin has to clean up and remove all that stuff from your body before it can get to work. Just like if you was going to paint your house, you would have to move everything out of the way before you start to paint. And so if we're eating too close to sleep, that's going to actually hamper our wellness, because if melatonin doesn't have enough time to do what it's meant to do, and we wake up, we feel groggy, we feel pains and aches and stuff like that. So even on an intellectual level, when we know and we understand certain things more, we can do things in our best interest that can actually help us in terms of our well-being. The next one is physical. So proper eating habits, exercise, and medial health. And so with this area, it's about what things are we doing or not doing, for that matter. They say now that sitting is the new smoking because of how people have had to work, working from home, hybrid working, that we're sitting a lot more. We're not getting up and moving around enough. It's about exercise. What are you doing to get your daily steps in? Whether it's walking, whether it's gardening, whether it's riding a bike, whether it's dancing to music, it's important that we're getting that physical exercise. And the gym isn't for everyone, but exercise and being active is for everyone. It's important for your well-being. And so one of the things that I stress is so important is to find something you enjoy. Find something that you like doing, so you won't use anything as an excuse to procrastinate and deviate from doing that thing. So remember, we are what we eat. So your eating habits need to be right. Every 35 days, your body replaces its skin based on the food that you've eaten. So we literally are what we eat. Exercise is key for health, for well-being, for strength, to enable us to do things and even to feel good. Because when you exercise, it releases endorphins that help you to feel good. And so physical health is so important. It cannot be negated. Then we have the social. So creating positive relationships with others. And this is really key. You know, there has been research, one of the longest research studies ever done, which was about 70 years. And they basically looked at all of the different characteristics that determine well-being. And they looked at all different types of demographics. So those who smoked and those who didn't, those who exercised and those who didn't, you know, they looked at all different factors. And their conclusion of this long study was that one of the greatest determinants of longevity of life was connections. And so how we connect with others. And one of the things they stressed, it wasn't about the abundance of relationships, but the quality of those relationships. Meaning, if you had someone that you could really call on in times of trouble, if there was someone that you could really confide in and share how you really felt, that was the key factor. And so what they wasn't saying is that all the other factors wasn't important. But one of the things they identified is that one of the key most important factors that was demonstrated across this study of thousands of people is that social connections is vital. And so in terms of your wellness, make sure that you have the right people around you. And don't get caught up in having an abundance, having, you know, I've got 30 friends and all that. No, you won't. You really have no more than 5 real friends that you can count on one hand. Real friends that are really there for you. Real friends that will tell you the truth, even if it's something that they know you don't want to hear. A real friend that you could call on in times of need, and they will drop what they were planning to do to really help you out. And having that social connection is paramount, because the opposite of connection is isolation. And isolation kills. And so there's so many people who may have so many people around, but they feel alone and lonely. And so we're not talking about having abundance of people. We're not talking about how much people you're connected with on social media or on Instagram or Facebook. We're talking about real friends. Real friends that you can connect with. Real friends that you can talk to on an intellectual level, that can strengthen your well-being. Real friends that you can connect with on a spiritual level. Real friends that you can connect with on an emotional level. Real friends that you can do activities together on a physical level. And then finally, we have career. And this is about finding purpose and satisfaction in one's work. Doing things that you enjoy. When you enjoy work, it doesn't even feel like work. It feels like a hobby. And so it's about developing and growing, strengthening and doing things in terms of your career, in terms of your work, in terms of your business that will support your well-being. And so it's about, in the strive to get to where you want to go, It's about remembering all of these other 5 areas within that. It's making sure that you're resting from the computer screen. It's making sure that you're getting up and moving around from time to time. It's making sure that you eat your lunch every day. And so when we are balanced within these 6 factors of well-being, that we can live a holistic life, is that we can have balance, is that we can find meaning, is that we can have connection, is that we can grow, and is that we can maintain our wellness and our well-being, because well-being matters. And it should be a priority in all of our lives to ensure that we can live to the fullest and that we can live our best life. So make sure that as you've reflected over these areas, wherever you are lacking, wherever there is a gap, wherever you know you need to start doing a bit differently, acting a bit differently, thinking a bit differently, speaking a bit differently, make those choices today. Because wellness, once it's gone, it takes a lot to get it back. So don't learn the hard way, okay? Make the decisions and the choices today. So, because remember, as I said earlier, there is only 2 days that you can't do nothing about. One is yesterday and the other is tomorrow. So don't let tomorrow come and catch you wanting. Do what you need to do today for your wellness, because your wellness is a priority.